So this home was built in the 1950s. This mid-century feel was important to me to incorporate into the staging to help tie in the personality of some of the original features buyers would really find charming. So you'll see throughout the home that we've used a lot of warm tones. This is very much to tie into the original wood floors. There are just a lot of rust colors and golds and oranges. Starting with the living room, I knew that this room would be the most important when it comes to the staging. So really making this room feel like home was so important to me. So before I move any staging furniture into the home, I'm doing a couple mock-ups to make sure I'm using the correct wall and the correct angle for the photo. That's going to be our first photo. I love to use interior shots specifically of the living room as the hero photo. Now, the hero photo in real estate is basically the first photo of the listing that buyers are going to encounter online. It really is that opportunity for a first impression, and I want to make sure that we're really curating what that first impression looks like. So home buyers, when they're receiving that list of emails from their real estate agent, they're clicking on our listing first, and they're going to get the best first impression that we can possibly make. And part of the practice behind getting people to click on our first photo is intentionally using home decor that draws people in. So for me, that's always a statement piece of art and a bold or really well designed couch vignette. So in this room, you'll see I used a blue velvet sofa from Article. This is actually the Sven sofa. It's just not a couch that's widely available in staging inventory. So for me, it was a really great investment. I try to pair it with great statement pieces of art that will help complement each other and make it seem cohesive. I was actually between this piece and another floral print from a local photographer. I ended up going with this piece. Sometimes I just get a look and a feel in my mind, and this one at the end of the day and after polling Instagram was the one that I couldn't stop thinking about and really felt like it helped echo the personality of the home. So you'll see there's some really fun and playful nods to the mid-century era in this piece with the gentleman's bell-bottom pants. There's a sepia tone to the print that helps play with that mid-century era. And then the furniture that they're sitting on is blow-up furniture, which I also thought was super fun and playful. Because my staging inventory is still somewhat limited, I need to get creative with some of the items I'm using and how they're being placed in the room. You'll see here, this is actually the front of this pillow. And in this one specifically, I didn't want to bring in another sort of random element into the space. So I'm using the flip side of the velvet pillow as the front, and you can't even tell. For the most part, I like to source things as close to home as possible because I feel that that really brings in some character and some story into the home. But sometimes realistically, Amazon comes in and saves the day. I was looking for a lamp in this space that would kind of fill this gap in the wall here. And so that for me meant something that sort of arched over. I looked at a number of stores, didn't find what I was looking for, and then I found this one on Amazon that was fairly affordable, and it came in the smallest box. I was very worried that I got the wrong lamp, but it ended up just being perfect for this space because of the gold metal frame here. And it has this sort of speckly tweed look to the lampshade, which very much reminds me of that mid-century era. Another way that I like to add small nods to the character of a home is with the intentional use of books. So you'll see that many of the books I use in this space are very, very intentionally chosen. So this one is about urban quilting, for example. And while we were helping the homeowners clear a few things out, we actually found some crochet pillows in the basement. They're super vibrant and colorful, but I felt that this urban quilting book really reminded me of just like the hominess and the craftiness to the retro feel of the home. And I think that quilting is making a comeback. So I just loved that it really tied into the space so well. So I had a lot of ideas for this eat-in kitchen dining area, and I knew this would be an opportunity for a statement moment. I found this print on Society 6, and Jeff helped me make a frame for it, which ended up turning out so well. We used a oak frame to try to tie into the warm tones of the original kitchen, And the print itself has a little bit of a retro collage feel, which I thought went well with the print in the living room and also with the nostalgic feel of the home. I initially had a red bowl of oranges on the table, which definitely finished the look in this space. Obviously, with the home being vacant, I didn't want to leave those out for too long, so that's back at our house. Bowl of oranges.
I am recording right now. I can see.
At first, I initially was considering using white chairs here, but I only had a set of 2. So I knew I wanted to fill out the table a little bit more just to show that you can fit 4 people or more in this space, probably with an even larger dining table. I actually found these chairs at IKEA for $25 each, and they're really great because they have such a unique color and they can also double as a stool if you take off this backing here. A fun moment for me was I actually ended up putting the backing on backwards when we were assembling these, so that was really cool.
Don't take a picture of me beside it. I didn't do that.
Oops. But I also played with art in this space, and I think part of the best practice for staging is really being flexible and playing around with what looks good. Sometimes you can do a mock-up and it will look great on the computer, but when you get something here in person, it doesn't look the same. So I think having that option for flexibility and a couple fun, playful prints is a great option to have when you're trying to make really the perfect look. But I really just wanted to be playful and really try to tie into the original charm of the home while still being sort of relevant to today's standards. Another fun area where I like to add a little bit of playfulness and help people feel at home when they're visiting the space is in the fridge. So I like to do fridge staging and providing some really awesome refreshments. The refreshments are also an opportunity to add that touch of local vendors, not only because the branding is super cute, but I think that it helps extend the exposure of the listing when you can tag a local brand in the listing or say that this is from a store down the street or a store from Toronto. It just adds another layer of interest to the home and it helps bring that warm and fuzzy feeling into the space. When staging a property for sale, it's not only about curating what everything looks like in a home, but also how the home makes potential buyers feel when they're physically in the space. So that's where fridge staging really comes in handy to just have those happy feelings and those happy vibes there. Plus, if people are seeing a lot of properties in one day, they're gonna get thirsty and they're gonna feel like you're the problem to their solution. They're gonna feel a sense of relief and a sense of at-homeness if they feel like they can solve their problem in this space. I also had a lot of fun in this room, but the moment for me that really helped me tie everything together and realize the vision for this space was finding these crochet flowers. They're from a local Toronto shop on Dundas, I believe, called Etc. Home. And I was just so thrilled to find these. Fresh flowers are something I like to include in all of my listings, but they're definitely a harder thing to maintain. You have to make sure they don't start wilting, otherwise they're doing the opposite of what you want. So I thought this was a really fun and cheeky nod to having fresh flowers. It definitely nods to the hobbies of that mid-century era, and I just think they're so fun and playful. Another thing that I found local to Toronto at Etc. Home was this modern quilt, which is double-sided. And this helped me inform sort of the look of the room as well. I thought I was initially going to use this side of the quilt, but I ended up going with a little more subtle side. Either way, they both had really lovely orange colors, and I just felt like that really tied into the floor color and helped make the room feel not like the traditional boring staging, but it was a little bit more fun and playful without being too nostalgic. This cereal candle also smells super nostalgic. It smells like Fruit Loop. It's a really fun brand. I just love the packaging. It's by a woman-owned business, so I really love incorporating small details like that. I went with less of a statement for the art in this room because I wanted to keep it a little bit muted up top so the attention would remain on some of the other features that help bring out the personality of the home. I ended up being very happy with this look. This second bedroom was one of the rooms that I felt came together really well. I had this print from before and I downloaded this off of Unsplash. I will make sure to tag the artist, but it's a really great website if you want to download some prints that you might not be able to find in other stores. I felt like these pillows really tied together the warm wood tones again, and this was a really interesting way that we use something I found at an antique shop. This is actually a closet door, I believe, that's unfinished. It's just raw wood, and I thought this worked really well as a headboard. This last room here is the smallest of the 3 bedrooms on the main floor of the bungalow, and I kept it fairly simple in this room. I really just tried to bring something slightly playful into the room with this iridescent side table. That is a really fun, playful piece in the space, and it's one of those things that I hope will delight someone if they see it in person. And I just thought that was a really playful piece of furniture that you don't see very often. It's actually from Amazon, and I was really thrilled that I found something iridescent that I could use. These are some velvet pillows that I've been trying to use in staging for a while, and I was happy that I was able to make them work in this room as well. And these are 2 Risograph prints from Etsy, and they just have a green and an orange color scheme.